1949, a historic landmark in refractive surgery when Jose Barraquer laid the groundwork for the use of natural corneal tissue to change the refractive properties of the eye. Unfortunately, due to various problems associated with the technique, it could not gain enough popularity. However, 2013 and 14 saw a resurgence of tissue addition when, followed by the first report of endokeratophakia, our group showed the feasibility of using cryopreserved smile lenticules for management of high hyperopia. Back then, the procedure was exploratory and involved creation of a stromal pocket using a femtosecond laser at 160 microns, followed by insertion of a smile-derived myopic lenticule in order to correct hyperopia in the recipient eye. Since then, the technique evolved, received many names, and taught us important lessons that helped improve the safety and refractive accuracy of the procedure. Through this film, we wish to share some of our learnings which may prove to be useful for surgeons wishing to explore this exciting possibility. Since a perfect match is not always available, current strategy aims at matching the power of the donor lenticule with the spherical equivalent of the recipient eye after appropriate back vertex correction. Power of the selected lenticule would thus be higher than that of the recipient eye. Preferably, the donor lenticule cylinder should be within 0.5 diopters in order to prevent induction of astigmatism in the recipient eye. To facilitate proper handling and reduce the induced astigmatism due to the incision, a lenticule holding forceps and a special T-shaped inserter was designed to aid in smooth lenticule insertion through a smaller wound of 2 mm. If the recipient eye has significant astigmatism, it may be managed using two approaches. In the first approach, the spherical component may be corrected by addition of a spherical lenticule, which is followed by astigmatism correction using a secondary procedure such as arcuate keratotomy, surface ablation, or thin flap LASIK, along with residual refractive error, if any. In the second approach, a smile procedure is performed first to correct the cylindrical component along with a minimal sphere, which is then followed by tissue addition procedure, wherein the remaining spherical error is corrected by insertion of a matched donor lenticule. Recently, the feasibility of use of toric smile lenticules using a triple marking technique has also been shown. When the tissue is implanted under a LASIK flap, it may potentially increase the risk of dry eye, weakening of biomechanics, DLK, poor adhesion or dislocation of the flap edge, and even flap necrosis with epithelial ingrowth in the worst case scenario. These risks may be minimized if the tissue is implanted inside a stromal pocket, as the incision is small and the tissue is securely positioned in a closed space, ensuring its stability and reducing the risk of epithelial ingrowth. Initially, a thick cap of 160 microns was chosen to keep enough tissue reserve for future enhancements. However, with higher amounts of hyperopic corrections, we noticed varying degrees of undercorrection, which was thought to be due to the posterior curvature changes as a result of addition of a thick lenticule. It was then proposed that a relatively superficial implantation could result in a more pronounced anterior curvature effect, maximizing the refractive effect of the procedure. This was later verified by subsequent research publications reiterating this fact. Although excimer laser treatments exist for enhancement, however, they are not free from their set of limitations. We propose a novel technique of Bowman's membrane relaxation for enhancement of residual hyperopia after tissue addition. To accomplish this, a Hesburgh-Barron trephine is used to trephine the Bowman's membrane and part of the anterior stromal fibers. The technique was shown to reverse the posterior curvature changes and resulted in an effective steepening of up to 5.7 diopters, thus aiding in the enhancement. Donor smile tissue used for this purpose may be either cryopreserved or fresh, wherein the tissue may be used for implantation within 48 hours when stored in Optisol or balanced salt solution. Irrespective of the type of tissue, a close follow-up of these cases is suggested due to the potential risk of late stromal rejection that remains. Owing to the wider availability, low cost, and better observed safety, use of fresh tissue is currently being preferred. In our series of 42 eyes of moderate to high hyperopia treated with tissue addition, all eyes that received fresh lenticules remained clear through a mean follow-up of 5 years. However, 4 eyes of 2 patients, wherein a cryopreserved lenticule was used, had suspected stromal rejection, necessitating explantation of the same. It is noteworthy to mention that in the rare event of tissue rejection, it is possible to enter the interface years after the primary procedure, separate the tissue from surrounding adhesions, and explant the same. For the first patient, the hazy lenticules were exchanged with fresh lenticules, who recovered full visual acuity after the exchange procedure. For the second patient, laser-blended vision LASIK was performed for concomitant presbyopia, resulting in satisfactory outcomes. These cases prove full reversibility of the procedure without any permanent effects on the cornea and best spectacle-corrected vision of the patient. De-antigenization of the donor tissue and finite element modeling for improved accuracy are some of the possibilities currently being explored. Nearly a decade of experience, contributions from various global researchers, growing body of evidence supporting safety and efficacy, and perceived advantages over hyperopic LASIK suggest that, finally, it may be time to call tissue addition a valid form of refractive surgery. It is heartening to see some of our high hyperopic young patients who were rejected for LASIK and phakic IOL surgery and were advised refractive lensectomy enjoying a normal life after tissue addition, which is nothing less than a miracle for them.